in detail. And now let us continue with the purpose of this recording.
Good. What I had in mind in asking you to do this was an introductory tape that would have real value, so that each subject that you covered, there would be enough that a person could actually begin using these ideas. But on the other hand, I do want it to be a tape that will lead a person in the areas that they're most interested in, into that particular tape, where they could get the fuller version of it.
As we are moving forward here together, we will talk about these recordings in the order that we are encouraging that they be listened to.
Great.
Also, we are wanting to point out that we cannot, any of us, offer everything that we are knowing or wanting to convey at any point in time.
Right.
And so we will offer as much as we're able here, understanding that some will be interested in going beyond and some will not. And even as the recordings are ordered and listened to, there will be some that will have heard enough and some that will want to go beyond that, and so on. Our work is evolving through the questions that are asked, from the stimulation of those who are hearing what has been said before. And so, let us begin.
Good. Well, Abraham, I'll assume that the first tape that you would recommend would be the law of attraction. I know you've talked about that being the most powerful.
That is correct. It is the most powerful law in the universe, and an understanding of that is essential before an understanding of anything else that we are offering will be of value. Law of attraction is the most powerful law in the universe, and what it says is that which is likened to itself is drawn. You see it evidenced here in your society when you say, birds of a feather flock together. You see it evidenced when you wake up in the morning and you have a very bad day, and all through the day things get worse and worse, and at the end of the day you say, I should not have gotten out of bed. You see law of attraction evidenced in your society when you see that the one who speaks most of illness has it. When you see that the one who speaks most of prosperity has it. Law of attraction is evident everywhere around you if you are understanding what it is. You are a magnet, attracting unto you that which you are thinking and feeling. And so if you are feeling fat, you cannot attract thin. If you feel poor, you cannot attract prosperity. And so on. It defies law. When you come to understand that you are a magnet attracting unto you, then and only then will it make sense to you to pay attention to what you are thinking, you see. When we say to you that you are the creator of your experience and that you attract unto you through your thought and through your word, which is an extension of your thought, and through your action, which is also an extension of your thought, what we are saying is literally you are creating your experience. The greatest resistance that we receive about that is that there are so many who have those things in their experience that they don't want, and so they cannot believe that they would have created it. They say, Abraham, I would not have done this unto me. And we say, we know you would not have done it on purpose, but there is creation by default, which is putting law of attraction to work by summoning or soliciting or inviting into your experience that which you do not want, by thought, not understanding the rules of the game, so to speak. And so we say, without exception, that which you give thought to is that which you begin to invite into your experience. When you think a little thought of something that you are wanting, by law of attraction, that thought grows larger and larger and more powerful. When you think of thought of something you are not wanting, that law of attraction adds unto it, and it grows larger and larger also. And so the larger it grows, the more power it draws unto it, then the more certain you are to receive the experience, you see. And so we are not saying that every subtle little thought will manifest instantly in your experience, but that is because of the buffer of time. But it does mean that it is setting forth the probability, and if you stay focused upon it long enough, it absolutely, under all conditions, will be yours, you see. The interesting thing about these laws that we are offering here is that they are, even if you do not understand that they are. And they affect your experience, even in your ignorance of them. And so as you are hearing this recording, it is our wanting that you will not resist the words because they are strange, but that you will ponder them and then look into your own experience, that you may see the correlation between what you are thinking and speaking and what you are getting, so that you will accept the law of attraction as absolute, thereby beginning to use it to your benefit rather than to your detriment.
The next major law that you cover is the law of, as you call it, deliberate creation. Would you cover the value of that to us and what you mean by that?
We will. We've called this the law of deliberate creation because we are assuming you are wanting to create on purpose. But actually, it is more aptly called the law of creation, for it works whether you are thinking of what you are wanting or thinking of what you are not wanting. Whether you are thinking of what you are wanting or whether you are thinking of the lack of what you are wanting. The direction of your thought is your choice, and the law of creation goes to work upon whatever it is you are thinking about, you see. And so as we are speaking of this, we are wanting you to understand that there are two parts of it, since you are here in this physical existence. If you were here in the non-physical, focused as we are, you would notice only half of the equation applying, for there is only the giving thought and receiving simultaneously. But here in this dimension with the buffer of time, there are two parts of the equation. On the one hand, the launching of the creation with emotion, and then on the other hand, the expecting or the allowing or the receiving of that which has been launched in the first place, you see. It is not easy for most of you to hear these words regarding creating through thought and to accept them wholly in the beginning, for you live in a physical world and you have seen so many taking action to make everything happen. And certainly we do not deny that action is an integral part of the physical world in which you live. But we do say that if you are utilizing the power of your thought to prepave or to set forth thought in advance of that which you are wanting to receive, that as you are walking through space and time into your now, that you will not have so much action to take to get things the way you are wanting them to be. We have noted that your hospitals are filled to the brim with those who are taking action to compensate for inappropriate thought. They did not create the illness on purpose, but they did create it through thought and through expectation. And then they go to the hospital to take physical action to compensate. We see many spending their day exchanging their action for dollars, because the dollars are essential to the freedom of life in this society. And yet in most cases the action is not action in joy. It is a compensating action in the now. You've intended action. That is part of the deliciousness of this physical world in which you live. But you did not intend to do your creating through action. You intended to do your creating through thought and to enjoy that which you have created with your body. If you understand that as you set forth thought in advance, with emotion, that you have launched your creation, and then you walk through space and time toward that time in the future, expecting that it will be there, then we say to you, from that joyful creation that you've launched into the future, you will be inspired to the action that is action in joy. And that is our point. When you are taking action in your now, and it is not action in joy, it is our absolute promise to you that it will not lead to a happy ending. It cannot. It defies law. Rather than being so ready to jump into action, to go and get the things that you are wanting, we say think them into being, see them, visualize them, and expect them, and they will be. And you will be guided or inspired or led to the perfect action that will bring about the process that will lead you to that which you seek. And there is a great difference between that which we have spoken and the way most of the world is going about it.
Thank you. That was very, very clear. The next subject, I would say, has had the most impact on new understanding for me, because I never thought of anything from that perspective with the clarity that you have, and that's the law of allowing. Would you cover that for us?
We will indeed. We have put the law of allowing in this order following the law of attraction first and the law of deliberate creating second, because law of allowing cannot begin to be understood until the first two are understood. What we are meaning by law of allowing is, I am that which I am, and I am pleased with it, joyful in it. And you are that which you are, and while it is different, perhaps, than that which I am, it is also good. And because I am able to focus upon that which I want, even if there are those differences between us that are dramatic, I do not suffer the negative emotion because I am wise enough not to focus upon that which brings me discomfort. I have come to understand, as I am one who is applying the law of allowing, that I have not come forth into this physical world to get everyone to follow the truth that I think is the truth. I have not come forth to encourage the world into a world of conformity or sameness. For I am wise enough to understand that in sameness, in conformity, there is not the diversity that stimulates creativity. And that in focusing upon bringing about conformity, I am pointed toward an ending rather than to a continuing of creation. And so law of allowing is absolutely essential to the continuation or the survival of this species, of this planet, of this universe, you see. Not only that, when I do not allow myself, I feel rotten. And when I do not allow another, I feel rotten. And so that is the basis behind law of allowing. Allowing not in tolerant sense, for when you are tolerating another, you are letting them be, you are letting them go ahead and do what they do, but you're not liking it. You are still binding yourself with the negativity, you see.
Mm-hmm. A thing that was tough for me in the beginning of this is, how do we protect ourselves, though, from others who are thinking differently than us, and differently enough that they might invade our space, so to speak, in some way?
Good. That is why we said before you can understand and accept law of allowing, you must first understand law of attraction and law of deliberate creating. For certainly, if you do not understand how something is coming unto you, then you are fearful of it. If you do not understand that another cannot come into your experience unless you invite them through thought, then of course you would worry about what the others are doing. But when you understand that nothing will come into your experience unless you invite it through thought, unless you invite it through emotional thought and great expectation, unless you actually accomplish this delicate creative balance, you will not receive it, you see. When the law of allowing is understood, when the law of deliberate creation is understood, when the law of attraction is understood, then there is no longer a need for walls or barricades or armies or wars or jails. For then you understand that you are absolutely free to create around you the world that you are wanting. And you are not feeling such a responsibility or such an urging to contain or control the others. For you understand they are in the process of creating their world around them. You see, in this physical world in which you are focused, even in this universe of which this physical world is a part, there are those things that you are in absolute harmony with, and there are those things that you are in absolute disharmony with, and there is some of everything in between. But you have not come forth to destroy or to contain that which you do not agree with, for that is a changing thing. Instead, you have come forth to identify moment by moment, segment by segment, day by day, year by year, what it is you are wanting, to use the power of your thought to focus upon it, to utilize the power of law of attraction to draw it unto you. The other doesn't work. Have you noticed?
Right.
For they cannot find a way of containing.
I know.
And who gets to choose who is right anyway?
As I look at these, my feeling is that the combination of the tape on the law of attraction and the one on the law of deliberate creation, and then the one on the law of allowing, then added to that, this next one, the segment intending, seems to make up the total recipe for making things happen in general. Would you cover how you see the segment intending, what you mean by that?
as you are understanding that you are the creator of your experience, then you are wanting more and more to identify what it is you are wanting so that you may allow it into your experience. Until you have stopped to identify what you are wanting,